All right, good morning, traders, and welcome to Markets webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. We'll be going live order using Bookmap, and the goal is quite simple. In the markets, in the electronic markets these days, the only way that you can participate is via your orders. Therefore, if you can track and follow and get insight people's activity via their orders and the flow, we can get an edge. And that's what we're here. And we're using Bookmap because Bookmap can show not only the current status of the but also the historical. We record it and we plot that on the chart over time. And that gives you insight that like a trading dome can never give, unless you remember. You have to remember visually or write it down or something like that, that an area was tested before and you're looking for a test into that area, etc. Anyway, yesterday we had our Bookmap Academy meeting, great meeting. And we go through your trades. We open the mic up for you to explain your trades. And then we go through this process in here. Now 1, 2, and 3 on the list here are not, well, they're part of the process, but what we really focus on is number 4 in your setup. But 1, 2, and 3 are vitally important. And if you don't filter for your trades using the impetus or what's moving the market out there, understanding your key levels, and then developing scenarios and strategies around these key levels, then you are at a severe disadvantage. You don't know what's driving the market. You're going to get involved in some area. You're not going to know your higher time frame key levels. Your setup might present, but in the wrong area, and you don't want to trade in that area. So you really have to filter through here. This is what we do in the Bookmap Academy so that we get to a quality setup, select the proper setup for the day, go through our checklist, which we should know our setup extremely well. We should be able to grade it, and then we determine the risk and sizing that we want, and then we execute with it. Okay, so let's just go through this very, very quickly. Like for today, what's driving the markets today? Well, it's really clear. Is geopolitical concerns, and there's economic data that came out today as well. So there's a lot going on that is driving the markets, and it's news-driven markets. Okay, we'll have to take a look at our key levels, our higher time frame levels, because it is volatile out there, and price may drive to those levels extremely quickly due to some sort of geopolitical news. Developing scenarios around that. So do you even want to trade during these times? If so, how are you going to trade? Are you going to scalp it and just try to get small moves? Or are you going to widen out your stops and trade much smaller and with much bigger ranges though? These are questions you need to answer when it comes to your setup and your checklist here. Determine the risk. Your sizing is going to be critical. You may want to just sit out because we don't know when these events unfold. Or maybe you switch over to maybe your setup or your trading style is driven by geopolitical events. So if you're looking for that, you see it, you see the order flow or the transaction starting to take place, then you jump in. Or maybe you're looking for a small pullback on that. It is very tricky environment because there could be good news and bad news 5 or 10 minutes apart from each other. Anyway, so it's really important to go through this process in here. This is the Bookmap Academy. Now there's a subset of the Bookmap Academy, and this is Bruce's pilot program. This is a program we put together after going through and looking at so many other traders over the years, and also in the Bookmap Academy, I found that a lot of the traders, biggest thing that they lack is an edge. They can understand, they can follow their setups or someone else's setup. They can understand it at very deep levels. However, they don't know if they have an edge with it. They don't know a process how to build an edge, how to back test for it. We will go through this in the pilot program, and it's designed to change this. We have a structured approach process that will allow you to build that edge. Okay, this is the fastest method I've ever seen due to the method that we have, and using replay mode very, very quickly, and speeding things up, and looking at setups. Anyway, if you're interested in any of these, the Academy or the pilot program, go to bookmap.com, click on the More button up here. Under Community, you'll see Bookmap Academy here. You'll see Pilot Program here. Okay, so if we click on that, for example, you can scroll down and you can sign up here. Now, both programs are free. There's no cost to them. The Academy, you can even use the free version if you want, but you will need to sign up, and you will need to obviously create content with Bookmap. But you can use the free version you even want. It's going to be pretty limiting, but you could. For the pilot program, you will need to have a global or global plus version of Bookmap. There's no way around it if you want to backtest and you want to edge. All right, so you can sign up here if you're interested, and then take it further. Let's go through some disclosures here, and then we'll look at the live market. General disclosure: all Bookmap limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of results. Right? Make sure you understand the risks involved. Let's dive in. Let's take a look at the S&P mini here, and let's go through our process. Yeah, good morning, Alois, others. Happy Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Looking forward to the weekend. All right, good morning, Laura. Let's see. Questions over YouTube at the moment. Okay, good. Set. All right, well, what do we see here? What's going on in the markets right now? Like I said, news driven, so really want to be careful. Here's an example of an economic event, okay? And you see how you'll be able to see this so quickly in Bookmap. Look at this area right here, okay? Or even better, right there. Let's just zoom into this area here, okay? See how liquidity is pulled in here? This is because it's an economic event. No one wants to take the risk. You can see them pulling on a higher time frame back here. This is about 4 minutes, 3.5 minutes before the event, and then here about 30 seconds or a minute before the event, you can see a lot more pulls. And then how curious though, this gives you a lot of insight. It shows you what people think of this product. Let's just humor me for a moment here. Those that stay in the order book are telling us, I will be a seller up here at 67.35. I will be a buyer down here at 66.80. Okay, so there's a big range in there. If the economic number comes out and it is way outside of expectations, this is where price is going to go. Now you have to know your economics or your events. Well, what is the average move? What is a move on? And you can look all of this up. There's even services out there that will give you that. They'll say like 30 ticks or 10 points or whatever it might be. In general, or on the extreme, or like if it's kind of in line with expectations, then you get much of a move at all. So anyway, so we had durable goods this morning. We had preliminary GDP, which was less than expected, and durable goods as well, less than expected. We didn't see much of a move out of this here. And here, 845, we did get a move. Okay, this is geopolitical. This is the kind of risk that you can take in these kinds of markets here. Can't take this. You might want to consider not trading during these times, or you taper or amend your trading styles, or look for a trading style that works within volatile. All right, so here's our 9:30 cash open. Here's the upside retest back to where it came from here, or where it broke out from, and we see the move continue on and up into guess where, guys. Take a look. Okay, so is this a key level or what? Right, so here, oh, let me get here. So this liquidity stayed in the market. Okay, this is where price went up to at 15 minutes or 16 minutes after the market open, cash open, traded up into, and then it sold off since. Okay, so it's really interesting, but it's really insightful trading. Understand they're even adding more in at 9:30, so they mean to get filled up here, and buyers took it right up to there. It goes through it a little bit and sells off. All right, so these are the things to consider, and look at high liquidity in these levels in here to gain insight. Okay? Even in volatile periods, in fact, let's zoom vertically over by left clicking on the axis holding and then moving it up and down mouse, and then you can drag it and you can see, okay, well, there's quite a bit of liquidity up here still at 67.40, and also down here still they're adding in more as price is coming down at 66.80. Okay, so 66.80 is a target, right? So let's zoom in a little closer here. Okay, so now we're trading into high liquidity here. Now we're at the big figure here, the century figure at 6,700, trading into that liquidity. They added it in here, and we just traded and made the transactions right into it right there. 1 and 2 levels of liquidity. There's still one below here at 97, 338 contracts. Let's see if they're still selling, trade into this high liquidity here. That's what I'm looking for, and so far so good, but we need to ascertain here. This is a low volume pullback so far. It's just not many points here, so that's something you have to kind of careful about. It's into high liquidity. It's through the figure here, and it's only like two or 3 points in here. When it's 2 or 3 points in here, that's not acceptance at a lower level. All right, so this is what can happen. We get squeezes like this, and then we'll probably come right back over and down and below. In fact, I'm going to look for that right now. I'm looking for sellers right here, just at the figure or below it here. So big red dot, and let's see them drive it into this liquidity down here. Okay, there we go. Okay, still looking for them to drive it into that liquidity. I want to see the transactions unfold here at this 97 level. Pull back again, see these sellers, and let's get a move. Okay, there we go. There's the transaction, and yeah, we're still in a downtrend. I'm still looking for further to the downside here, and we got 92, 90, and our 80 level down here, and at earlier. The 6E. You might, Stephen, looking at this in here. Let me actually bring this over and go. Stephen saying lots of algo activity in here in the 6E. Potentially, but I think this rollover period or something to look at. Maybe look at the next contract, Stephen. So this is a quarterly contract. You're going to look at the June contract, the M contract. Okay, this is the H, 6EH. So you will have to, even with bookmap data, which you have, okay, you can't put in the continuous contract yet. You'll have to put in 6EM6. See what that looks like. Because this looks very indicative of that. Yeah, I mean, Forex is funny, or yeah, currency futures, like kind of like every point here or every pip or whatever, you see, I mean, very mechanical looking here. And like you said, algorithmic activity. But that's the way these markets trade. Well, they're, if you look at the M contract, it'll you know, similar. There'll be something similar to be as distinct as that, though. Yeah, take a look anytime, Stephen, like or anyone out there. If something looks a little off, go check the contract specs. In fact, let's do that right now, just to get everyone on the same page here. So this is what I do. I've been doing it for years. I find this is just the quickest way. Is just use Google. CME volume 6, and let's take a look. It makes sure that it's the 6E over here. See how it is rolled to the M contract. Even the CME says it's rolled. But let's take a look at the quotes in here, and we'll also look at the volume and open. Here's the March contract here. Here's the June contract here. So very, very clear, it has rolled to the June. Yeah, and it still looks like a mess. Alois. Yeah, I mean, that's the nature of these markets. You know, and it's in rollover period too. So, you know, people are rolling into this contract. So it's going to look like this for a bit until it kind of smooths out. Rollover period is tricky. It's a tricky time to trade. So anyway, good stuff there. And let's continue on here. Okay, so we have traded down into that 92 liquidity here, and we see kind of a lot of buying coming back in. All right, so guys, let's take a look at this in here. And Vinfra is in here. We tried to get you up on the stage, or got you on the stage. We tried to get your mic open. I wanted to cover, actually, I think it was a really good conversation about your trade and looking at the transition from either sell side to buy side or vice versa. And really understanding this is critical in reversals or continuations. It really doesn't matter. So like right now, there is a reversal here on a small time frame. Okay, down in here, there's a little double bottom in here, and here, get the buying coming in, breaks this little small structure, pulls back. Okay, this is a low volume pullback as well, guys. It is. You know, we can look at this also with the trendline break accumulation trade setup, something like this, or it's just that for a minute. Try that again. So if it broke this here, you'd be looking at the next structure, okay, something like up here, or as this structure developed, horizontal structure is here, okay. So you would be looking for the breakout of that area, and this might be a potential area right here to consider. And looking for the continuation. And then let's go over this. Vinfra. So what we see here on this, and guys, this is just a quick, we'll get into the bigger picture stuff in a minute here, but this is good stuff. This is exactly what I wanted to cover in this webinar here, is this transition here, and from sell side to buy side, right? And this is the buy side in here. Okay, now let's continue further here. High liquidity on the bid in here getting filled at a higher level. That's good. That's bullish. Let's see, can we get buyers up here? I'm looking for it. Let's see if we can get buyers up here around 01 or 02, 1.5, let's say. There they are. Now let's see them pull it higher. Okay, so here's our breakout. Okay, up into 04, 05, and that would be your first target. I would either take some off, or if you're trailing your stop here, let's just go. I'm going to take an example in here, guys. I don't want to encourage you to trade, though. This is not what we're here for. I guess we kind of lost it already. That's too bad. I wanted to demo this for you. I'll have to do it with pen tool. All right. So we're just seeing this. Now we had this, right? We noticed some of this other liquidity. Now this is a smaller move. It's not a huge reversal that we're looking at. But we saw the continuation, right? We saw this transition, sell side, the buy side. This in here is chop, okay? But it's accepting higher, and this gives us insight, this high liquidity at this higher level. So now we're looking for, and it traded, it transacted, and it came back into range. Okay, looking for buyers now. Okay, we're looking for a break here. We're looking for these buyers. They came in, and we're looking for it to trade back up to high liquidity up here. And that's it. Now, it takes some off. I mean, if there's other ways to manage this, and many ways to manage this. Okay. One is to hit the single and get out. The other is to again. Another way here is to suppose you got in here, right, at this area here. Okay, stop would be down here. And did it clear this area in here? No, it didn't, right? So you would have been stopped out here, and you would have been stopped out for a small loss. Okay, that's that. If this did second leg and then came up into up into here, something like this, then trail your stop underneath. Okay? And that would be basically around break even, maybe a little bit higher than break. Okay? So anyway, that's there's another way. Suppose you got in with multiple contracts, take some off here, keep your stop here. You'd probably be about break even. So if you took some off here, that's some profit, then you have a small loss. All right, gave it a shot, and didn't work. So anyway, a few different things to consider there, and let's get back to what I wanted to cover. And here we go again. All right, so looking for those buyers, right? Here they come. Looking now for 10. I want to see it traded into this liquidity here. Okay, we're probably going to get a pullback, right? And we're probably going to get a pullback into, I don't know, a few different areas here, right? If we put a channel together, maybe it will go exponential off of this one here at 02. Maybe it comes all the way back down into 98 or so. So let's take a look. Yeah, it's going to go in channel here. Okay, let's see if we get our buyers in again here. And let's take a look at this, Vinfra. Do we really see this? The transition looks pretty good over here. Well, it's not bad, put it that way. I would like to see these volume delta bars be a lot bigger. And that coincides with these green dots in here being a lot bigger as well. Okay, so we do have some, and we had another one here. I thought we'd get a bigger move out of this. We didn't, and now they're showing up again. Okay, so buyers are coming back in again, and let's see if they can come back up to the top of the range up here. So right around in here, this 08, 07, something like that. I see this liquidity kind of back and forth. So you know, that's what I'd be looking for. Now let's look at this in here. How good of a transition is this? It's not that great. It's you know, here it looks pretty good. We do see it. It's okay, but you know, this is not giving me that warm feeling that oh yeah, the aggressors have really made a decision here to move price. Okay, so that's why, for example, this more aggressive trend line in here failed. It came back down to the bigger one, and then we did find some buyers. Okay, guys, like we're not going through a specific setup here. We're kind of talking around a setup, but these are ideas to put into a setup, and that's what I'm actually here for in this webinar, is to look at many order flow elements in here and look for the potential for assisting you with making better trading decisions. Okay, because you will have to build out your own setup. You'll have to build out your own edge. If you want more, then come to that pilot program and we go into depth. Bookmap Academy as well. And we will go into depth on a very specific setup that we're looking at. And we will look for those elements to show. And if they don't, we trade. Trading is life. Yep. Yep. I hear you, Alois. Like 3 times more the volume. Alois, for the longest time, I wasn't looking at the quotes. I was looking at the actually volume and open interest, and yeah, that out to me here. Anyway, okay, so now we're getting our breakout here, guys. We're getting this this bigger move, right? And it is breaking this channel here. Okay, and I mean we can see this in here, this volume coming in here. Okay, now I would say, based off of what I see in here and this transition, like I said, I still don't like it. It looks a little bit better. I would look for it to trade to the top of this range here, maybe up to 10, this liquidity here, but that's about it. I would not look for this to break and go exponential at this point. And it is. Okay, so now that it is, where's the next area? Well, I'd look for this 17 liquidity up here. I like it. There's some swings up here. Also this 21 area up here. Let's zoom out a little bit. Okay, so yeah, starting to unfold. And Vinfra, I hope this helps. Okay, like this was choppy in here. We saw maybe a potential opportunity here, and then kind of missed it. I was explaining something, but we were looking for maybe the bounce off of these areas in here and then buyers coming back in. They did. Okay, so we are looking for them to trade it higher. Okay, it just didn't really look like there's much of a transition here yet. Okay, on the smaller time frame, this wasn't bad. On the higher time frame, this is starting to better, but we already kind of missed the move basically. So you'd have to be pretty quick in here. And once you start to see this in here, or it takes some off, or manage your stop and trail it the way that Academy and pilot program. Okay, so yeah, you would have had a small loss in here, and this one would have been a gainer though. But depending on how you manage this one over here, and a break even or a small loss. Anyway, putting the pieces together, looking at order flow to give us an edge, looking at high liquidity passively getting filled, and then we saw this in here and liked that a lot. This is where I was looking for getting in and hitting up here. I thought we'd get to 10, chopped, and now we've gotten not only to 10, we've gotten through. So we saw it over here around 5 for looking for trading back up to 10 here. Okay. And again, look at look at this. Yeah, okay, it was starting to evolve here, and now we see the sellers coming in. You know, it's God. I know it sounds like kind of double talk or looks like hindsight, but we just weren't too convinced with this. On the smaller time frame, yes, into some of these areas, it went further than I thought. And look at it now. Look at this transition in here. I don't like it. I don't see an edge there. This is a lot of selling. Okay, there's a lot of buying. There's more buying than selling. Okay, that's true. Okay, let's take a look at some structure in here. I'm going to get rid of all of these lines, and I'm going to draw the structure. Here's a structure, and here's a structure. Okay, we are retesting this structure here. In fact, we talked about this yesterday, and talking about it a lot more with the low volume pullback. Okay, we're looking for a low volume pullback into a low volume. Okay, so the low volume node is where very little traded. Okay, there's one up here, and there's one here. Right, so you may have heard of like the fair value gap trade or whatever, and this is what we're going to be going over is I think there's something kind of lacking there with the ICT. It's just not as accurate, and it makes sense. I mean, they don't have Bookmap. They don't have access to what we're looking at in here. Here we can get very specific with these areas in here. Okay, we're looking very directly at a low volume node. We know it's low volume. Okay, it's right here. It's in the data. We're looking for a pullback into that area on low volume. Okay, and it's here in the data. Look down here. Okay, so here's a low volume pullback and a continuation further on to the downside. In fact, okay, these are the things we'll be looking at very shortly. Here's your impulse move. Here's your pullback. This in here is low volume. Look at this little structural area. See, this is other details that we're going to talk about that you just can't see if you don't have Bookmap. See this kind of area. There's some transactions here on bid, and there's a little bobble here price, and then so basically we have a few different things in here. We've got impulse moves, right? Okay, and we've got kind of these pullbacks in here as well. We're going to get a low volume area in here in some of these areas precisely because this little back and forth will actually create some volume. It's actually above it or below that low volume. Zoom in here. Anyway, that's what we're looking for. What is this area called in here? It's rejection. Okay, so this is a CVP column, the chart range volume profile in here. This area in here, there's trades up in here that accepted up in this area, transactions. Then there's very little transactions in here. Okay, price went through that area. it explored to another area, and then it went back and forth a while, and then it explored further. This is auction market theory, and this is what I'm talking about is going to be a lot more accurate. You're going to be able to look at and understand low volume pullbacks into low, and that's what we want to look for, right? Yeah, Alois. Yeah, I don't like ICT as well. Um, well, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But it's exactly the same thing we're looking at here. It's because of this up here is rejection, right? Where I find it, it's lacking is they're looking at candlesticks, and you know, starting to look at an area where price blazed through an area and then came back into an area that you know, they kind of don't overlap, basically. And you're assuming, it's a big assumption, you're assuming that it's a low volume node in there. So that's what I think is inaccurate about it. Okay? We want to confirm it's a low volume node. That's the distinction. Okay, so like right there is a small one right there, right? So there's a small little scalp down to here, maybe down to here at 98. I mean, it happens all over the place, right? And let's see if we get another one. Okay, so let's see if this goes really quickly down to here, right? Then we can take a look at this and I'll show you how this evolves. Okay, so look at low volume right in there, right in here, right? It just went through really quickly. This would be the pullback in here. This would be your area for the initial low volume pullback. And that's exactly where it just went to, right there. 17 contracts right here. This is low volume right there. Okay, we know that, right? We know that up to here, there's 47, 58, and 37 contracts in this little area right here. Okay, that's where price went through really quickly and explored and then accepted down here on this very small time frame. Okay, this is where it accepted for a very small time down here, and then it explored to the downside. This is that pullback into that little area here. Now, nothing traded here. Not one contract traded when it came back in here. Zoom in here. There you go. Okay, right at this 98 and 3, there's not one contract traded here. And is that your low volume node? And 17 traded over here. That is correct. Yep, right there. Okay, now we don't know. This is the minimum here where we're looking for rejection. It could have come up higher. It could have come up here. It could have come up to here. Could have come up and traded back to here at OT up here. We don't know. Now, how we can put more on our side in here is very simple. Okay, we want to look at the volume that drove this away from this value area up here. Okay, down into high liquidity down here. So here is your value area for this small time frame. We are downtrending in it, see, and then we're looking for an impulse move, which we see here, which is also a stop run too. Okay, so into high liquidity down here. So price went through this area very quickly. It did not really auction up here, this area. It did not go back and forth. Okay, so this is where price kind of rejected. It didn't really trade much here. Okay, so when we come back into an area of rejection, we're looking for it to reject again. And now we're going to look at the factors in here that give us that insight that the rejection is there. And what would you guys say, Alois or Steven, you guys that trade this, what would you say at this pullback in here? What kind of insights do you get? And now this is a low time frame. It's like I said, it's a not a bad example, but it's definitely lower time frame. Looking at seconds in here. Yep, you don't see buyers. That's so basically that's what I was looking for, Stephen. One of the things I was looking for. There's more, but it exhausts out. There's no one wants to transact here. If no one transacts in there, what are we looking for? DNT is probably right now. Yeah, so we have exhaustion here. Now, if there's no buyers in here, what are we looking for? Okay, we're looking for this to be impulse move, pullback or chop, followed by another impulse move. That's what we're looking for. Okay, we're looking for that continuation. And we got it. Right. So a lot of things can happen in here. But this is a good one that it didn't even, it barely kind of, not even one contract traded up above here. One contract traded here, it looks like. And let's just zoom in there. Yeah, one contract here at this level, one tick above, right? And then we go one tick higher and then nothing. Okay, so there were some in here, ticks, or a few transactions in here. So 40 altogether, or 39 in this little area, right? At 98.50. And you can see it retested here 1, 2, 3, 4 times up here. Offer, it's taking it. And if we don't find buyers willing to drive up and try to hit some high liquidity to fill, then we're looking for this to roll over, and we're looking for sellers to drive it down to the bottom of the range, and then continue into that impulse move. So impulse move, pull back, impulse move. That's what we're looking for. Okay, and it's not bad. It's not bad in here. Okay, here's the selling. Here's the back and forth in here. Look at the volume in here. On the buy side, not much. And then here's our exhaustion into that low volume node here, where price rejected or through very, very quickly. It rejects again, and we get sellers. We get pretty heavy selling in here, or bottom of the range, high liquidity, and continuation move. I like to look at, as you guys know, I like to measure moves that this move is kind of equal to that one, but I like to line it up with high liquidity. So anyway, nice move, came back down and continued to lower areas in here down. So stuff there. All right. Well, and we saw all of this unfolding. In fact, okay, we're just talking about this, and look at the transition now, Vinfra. Okay, so look at this. Not looking better, looking like it's starting to work here, and then this is not the we're looking for a potentially other transition here. At this point, we need to look down in here in these areas in here. That continuation move certainly did. Yep, there you go. DNT is an impulse, number one impulse move, retracement back to structure, or in this case rejection, or small structure. That is correct. That's what we mentioned also last night. And then it rejected, or It rejected, it did not trade, and let's move, okay, in the same direction. We got to get sellers though. Sellers have to come in. Okay, and we got them. Yeah, like I said, I think it's pretty good. It's not a bad example here. Okay. Now there's a lot of different scenarios in here, guys. It doesn't, you know, what we're illustrating here is one very typical scenario. Very typical. Look at this pullback in here. Look at all of this selling in here, and look at this in here. Infra on this here. Does this look like, are we getting a lot of buyers in here? No, absolutely. This is our low volume. Sorry, I was looking at, it was this small one. Incorrect. Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. Even this move in here, this is a low back volume in here. It's just left click, hold, drag on this number here. Delta bars better. More and more selling. Now, here's another detail. A lot of details. Want to see consistent volume driving price lower. Want to see this be a retracement back up on very low volume delta bars. Look at the dots. Okay, get smaller structural areas in here. This is that little structural area, and the impulse move again started here, and price down. That's why we look at these areas in here where sellers came in. Structural areas in here. You see it again and again and again. This is understanding the market mechanics around why these setups work. Yeah, I am, T. James, adding the low volume pullback to the pilot program. Absolutely. I tried to finish it last night. I didn't. I will finish it over the weekend. I need to still kind of, I've got a bunch of files already, and I went through them, and they're good, but I'm not sure how to present them, guys. It's a little bit trickier in the replay files, and it might be confusing. So that I didn't see that coming, but yeah, I'm not sure how to tackle it quite yet. Maybe we just show it already moving instead of looking at the structure. Not sure. There'll be tons of these files, and they'll be very short. The file will start here and it'll end, down here, something like that. I don't know. But we have this bigger picture context in here. I think it's a little easier to put this together. Yeah, trendline break accumulation is a reversal, and we need to see that reversal on. That's a little easier. Well, you can see it, start to unfold, and it takes time to kind of turn. Yeah, Alois. So what you're drawing up there is exactly the same thing we're looking at. Candlestick. But this is where, like, you want to confirm that. Here's the pullback here. Now, I don't see, this is what I mean. Like, I just don't, you don't even have volume on here. This could be an impulse move. It's buying. I don't know. It's behind this here. And then you know, here's the move down, right? What's behind this in here? I don't know. Is it going to come up? Yeah, okay. I can't really see if there's a wick on this or not on this candle. And if there is, then that's not really it. Uh, doesn't look like there is. It's like this is the candle. Yeah, then it blazed through here and then it came back up and retested in here. Yeah, that is true. This is where it rejected. Uh, we look for the rollover here. Now, but you just don't know what's behind this candle here, right? And look, we have another area in here. In fact, see how this can get really confusing. Hindsight is easy. Look at this in here, and I just don't see any volume in. It's really hard for me to judge this, but this is an impulse move here. This is a very shallow pullback in another move. Well, maybe this is a low volume pullback into here, and this is the next one that I'm looking for. Price to go higher. It doesn't. It fails. But you know, what about, wouldn't you? What about trading this one here? There's your fair value gap right there. I mean, they're all over the place, but how do you know which ones? How can you get into the details here? That's my problem with it. Yeah, but we traded through. Yeah, right. But like, so, but you're entering on when it comes back into the fair value gap. Anyway, I don't like it. I think it's kind of like, I just think it's not as accurate. I don't think it gives you as much information, or we can do better. And yeah, I'm not a fan of ICT at all. I think he's really done a nice job kind of promoting and marketing himself, redefining something that's already been defined many times in a much clearer, better way. I think he's misleading people basically, and that really bothers me. Education. All right, guys. Well, here we go. Here's now impulse move. Right now, this in here. Let's see, is Non in here today? Yes, he is. Okay, Non. Good one. I'm kind of wondering. Like, here's our impulse move. Right. Here's the potential for this reversal here. Chop. Sellers take it down below here. Here's a low volume pullback in here to this area. Here it is again. Got more sellers in here. Next impulse move. Here's your wedge, right? Something like that. In a beauty. Where's it going? Let's take a look. It is cultish as well. And Louise is pure marketing. Yeah, I agree. And it's a lot of younger, a lot of younger traders are kind of racing it, and I, I hate to see it. I just think they're being misled and kind of being pulled direction. enough. I think we've gone through it. All right, guys, let's see where is this going now. We didn't take a look at our bigger picture candlestick here. We just filled the gap down here. We actually opened up above here. See a nice little squeeze to the upside. We do not fill the gap here yesterday. And here's the, now we're seeing this really strong. Yeah, I like it. See, we got a bit of a wick daily. So this is from back here. So this is the wick here. So yeah, I'm looking for next stop down here around 42. Basically, it's not going to get there just like that. Another 20 points. It's not going to get there like immediately. We're going to get some back and forth. Yeah, crude oil, big. I mean, guys, in this environment, I mean, the ES is just pushed and pulled, and it's kind of a it's a derivative of crude in essence here. Hear me out to say that, like, the S&P is filled with all sorts of businesses that don't depend on crude. But crude is the the big driver right now. So that's why I got it up, and let's zoom, and it continues to go higher here. So again, this is a tricky one too. It's you'll see these moves and you get these big pullbacks, but this is where it wants to go. Okay, 96 up here and above. So we can see that not bad. Like here into the high liquidity here. Look at the pullback to liquidity in here, that level. Okay, here's your gap in here where there's going to be a low volume node. It's right there. See it, right? There's the pullback to it. There's the rejection here, and we get more buyers. And now it comes back and retests again. This is where it's looking pretty, I think. There's also other structural areas in here. This will be good. I'm kind of going through this really quickly, guys, but the reference will be there in the record. Here's what we got in terms of trading into 95, trading above it, through it, retesting back to it where it rejected in here with the low volume node on low volume, and we get buyers. Okay, we get a pullback again, and it just wasn't ready to move at that point. This is where you can also look at a structural area like a trend line. Now I know, just draw it this way. Then I don't want to try to mislead you guys. This is the trend line I would draw here. In fact, I'll even get more accurate. And 1, 2, 3 points. It kind of traded through it here, but it didn't go below the swing in here, right? And so this is a low volume pullback right in here. Okay? This is a low volume pullback here. You just don't have, this is not an impulse, another impulse moving. This starts to look like it, but it doesn't follow through. Another pullback, buyers come in at above the structure, the small structure here. I would look for it to trade up to the top of the structure or high liquidity on the offer. This is behaving like pretty well, actually. Looks like a stock to me. You get these kinds of big areas of liquidity it trades into, through it, bounces off it again. So what was resistance becomes support. What was supply becomes demand. In this case, we don't see demand underneath here. It just exhausts out. there's not much selling here. This is very typical as well. It got a lot of ideas to go through in these examples, and I don't want it to be confusing, but you'll start to see these things. It's the same things about structure, transactions, and liquidity. Okay? These three things over and over again. If we're not going to see sellers in here, okay, then probably going to find, and it's going to exhaust out, we're probably going to find buyers in here because the trend is to the upside. We do, and then you can even look at structure in here. Draw a trend line here on the pullback. This is more like that flag pattern or that pennant pattern or whatever, and then you can even draw a horizontal structure here. Now that's reminiscent of exactly where it came from the trend line break and accumulation. What's the difference here? What's the difference, guys? Here's our 96. Okay, so, and I'm still looking for it to trade higher here. And now this is going to get really interesting up in here because we got 3 levels, pretty high liquidity. But let's see if we still get some demand in here, pressers, and trade into these guys here. And then maybe we'll get a pullback, a big pullback. We might even get a reversal. So we're at highs of the day here. Lots of liquidity up at these. Anyway, beautiful move here. Beauty. Looks like a stock to me. See these at the big figures, just like this in Crude, at the dollar figure. So anyway, so let's go through the mechanics in here, or some of the things to consider on the pullback. First off, we talked about this being strong. It's accepting above 95, and then we're looking for buyers to come back in. Okay, so impulse move, taking a break, pull back, impulse move. Okay. And then we're again looking at structural areas in here. Now, what I was just talking about up here is the difference between the trend line break and accumulation. And we're going to have to zoom in here really closely to take a look at. And in fact, I'm going to have to bring down the heat map a little. So what is it in here? Okay, so there is some liquidity in here, not much. So there is some demand here at 95. It looks like it traded too. Yeah, it did. It traded. Okay, interesting. So it did flip. The book did flip, and this is a book flip. They were on the offer here. They are on the bid here at the same price level. They don't have to be at the same price level, but in this case, they are. What was supply is now demand. You know, Bookmap is visualizing these things really well. These concepts of, you know, resistance turns into support. Okay, well, we can be very clear and show you supply, passive sell orders over here that transacted and accepted, price went through and traded above, and then came back and retested in here, and we have now demand on the bid. And here it is. Okay, so anyway, if this is, let's suppose this is like a trend line break accumulation. So, you know, here's your downtrend in here, and you know, here's your trend line break in here. What's the difference though? Right? Well, typically, I mean, we're looking for a much higher time frame reversal in here, but in this small time frame, it's kind of doing it. It's doing the same. The mechanics are the same. It's just that there's big differences in here. We're already in an uptrend. In fact, usually trend line break accumulation is a reversal. So you're coming from an area down into area of demand. And yeah, you kind of are here a little bit, but like this is more of big differences is a lot of times there's no liquidity down here. There doesn't need to be, okay? Because it's already there's already all sorts of traders over, down below that have passively gotten filled. So we're looking for the aggressors, the buyers to come, aggressive buyers to come in, move the price, looking for a pullback. And then we're looking for one of the best or a great scenario is exhaustion, and then buyers come in again. Okay, so all the market is doing is not finding sellers, maybe some profit taking, maybe a few sellers, okay, but no one's interested in selling really. So we're looking for the market to take a break, and then we're looking for buyers to come back in, and that's exactly what happened. This is essentially, it's very similar in structure and a kind of a micro, trend line break accumulation, but like we don't need to have the passive, we don't have to have 3 levels of passive liquidity. We don't need it. What we need to see is lack of sellers, and we need to see it exhausting out in here. And in fact, here's your low volume node up early. This is where it traded into and rejected immediately. Look at how someone, I don't know, came in, maybe this is some algo or something, and bought that up immediately. Okay, so there's your rejection, and there's the buyers. We come back and test where these buyers came back in, and not enough buyers to sustain the move higher here. It was a very, very quick move, and likely a lot of people getting stopped out there. Get the pullback, and I'm looking for kind of, first thing I'm looking for is exhaustion, and then I'm looking the buyers to come in, break the small structure here. I want to see these aggressors come in, top of the range, and continuation up. Guys, there are videos on this already. In fact, let me show you. If we go to bookmap.com and we go to education here, I was thinking I would do another video for you guys, and I probably will. I might have to do 2 or 3 on the low back with variations. But anyway, so I have one in here with the supply and demand setups. So come in here into low volume pullback here. Now, what I don't like about it, this is good. It goes through it, and it goes through the exactly low volume node in here, and exactly the things we're talking about. But this structure in here is more complex. I'm looking for one, big impulse move, very shallow, quick pullback, and then a move. This one is more, it did it. It's just longer term. That's all. However, let's go back to the Learning Center, and then we'll scroll down again and go into strategies and setups in here. Okay, watch the flag pattern in here. These videos in here. Okay, 1, 2, and flag pattern setup in diagram form. And we have it same in Bookmap, what it looks like in Bookmap, and then we have execution. Okay, now so this is a lot more kind of complex in terms of like, I covered too many steps in here, I think, but it is exactly what we're talking about. Sometimes there's liquidity in here, sometimes it just exhausts. In our example in here, we did have some liquidity. They got see that earlier. Anyway, let's see what happened now. Okay, so you can see traded up into 96. We traded up into 96.10. High liquidity up there. What do these guys do up here at 96.25? They pull. So now, what are we looking for? We're looking for market to take a break. It has done its nice impulse move. Take a break, and we're a low volume pullback. Let's zoom in. Where is our low volume? Well, here's going to be an area. Look at some of the structure. So you can see it came back down into this little structural area. It is a low volume. Not the best, but not bad. There's one below it here, down here. So let's see if we get down to that. And look at this up here. Okay. So first off, we have high liquidity getting filled on the offer up in here. Look at this. This is, we're seeing like more buyers come back in, but there's high liquidity. I'm at a lower level in here. I would not be looking for a continuation pattern here. I would look for this kind of liquidity up above level, not getting filled. It's not what I'd be looking for. This is bearish in here to have high liquidity at these areas here. Again, at 96, and then even below it, 96.90 or 95.95, and 95.90, and they all filled. What was the reaction after that? Absorbed the buying pressure and back down here again. Okay, so let's see then. Okay, so if that's the case, let's see here. Okay, we just filled this liquidity. This gets more complex. Now I'd be looking for, let's see if we get more sellers in here. Okay, I got to see them here at 66, and let's see them trade into. Now this is not a setup I recommend, but let's see them trade into low volume nodes. Okay, and I want to see a stop run. See if we get our sellers here. See, we're in a high volume node here right now. This is acceptance. Okay, here they come. All right, I want to see them push through it. See them push into 54 or 43 down here. I really like 40 somewhere. All right, it didn't do it. Buyers are coming back in. This acceptance in here, we're getting price discovery above this area here. Right, and they're supporting it here again too at 78. More liquidity there. Okay, so now I'd be looking for the potential here. See, this is getting tricky in here. But if they're gonna get buyers on the bid in here, then let's get the aggressors right up here at 80 or so, and let's see if they can move it back up to 96. Still getting filled in here. It's at 70. Okay, back into that high volume node. Some rejection there. And now buyers got to take these guys on at 72 and 76 and trade into and through. Okay, one more. Got to get through the 76 here. 14 contracts and 29 contracts here. There they go. Okay, great. All right, now let's see the buyers take it back up. 96. Okay, first stop is right here, the swing, but I want to see, and we're not getting much volume up here. Not getting much. Exhausted out. This is getting a lot more complex. It's not as simple as the read over here, my opinion. This in here is this is way more complex. A lot of other things going on in here. Flips of the book back and forth. This is good though to see that we did trade above up here. We just pulled back again. Let's see if we can get our buyers again in here. I don't want to see liquidity offer here. I want to see it up here. I'd like to see them on. just building out this profile here into you know, high volume node. In fact, that's probably, see, it's down below. It's developing though. Let's see. All right, here they come. Okay, this looks much better, a third attempt. All right, let's see these buyers take it right up to 96 now, maybe 96.10. But it's becoming clearer now. We've taken on these buyers have taken on these sellers, and there's still more demand. Zoom in, see your, again, your low volume pullback potentially right in here at this point in here, this little area in here, low volume node, rejection, buyers, 96. You don't have to zoom in for all this kind of detail, but you know, we're demoing it in real time here on these smaller examples. Guys, any questions? I'm going over a lot of things in here. Got to be some questions. Okay, 96 transacted and rejected pretty. Pulled back to another area in here. This is why Laura and others, why we look at the swings. This is precisely why. Let me show you. All of this is related. You know, the low volume pullback into a low volume node, it's all related. And it's on the higher time frame, the swings, same ideas. Okay, so we're looking at the swing here because down in here, price rejected. Trade back down here again, and you can see we're back up into this little range. So the question is, this little area in here, you're going to reject. Oops. You're going to reject here. Far so good. Okay, so now do we get buyers at 88? Tossed it out. Cast up here. Let's see. 88, 95, 88. See buyers. Now let's see them move it back to 95 here. 95, 95, and then 96. See if we can get that. See how this is also a low volume node. But see how there's more volume that traded up here. So there's some acceptance up here. That's a big difference. Some acceptance up here. So yeah, it rejected off of this right here. So that's why we look at these swings in here. And now we're back down into the bigger volume node down here. Let's see the rejection here. Let's see if we can get our buyers come back up. All right, now what I want to show here is we'll go back to those swings and why it's such an easy thing to look at, and it's just relates to acceptance and rejection again, like we're covering, and looking at where things are transacting or rejecting. Same ideas. So we'll have to zoom into some of these in here. Strong rejection. It's back into this area in here, okay, and rejects again. Now, let's look at some of the swings now, though. Okay, so there's a swing up here where it rejected. It kind of went above it. It did not accept. It rejected, came back in, okay, and it continued on lower here. So let's see. Pull. We'll see these areas of structure that we've covered so much. This is a little complex, but see structure break, and that's gonna here's gonna be your that little. Okay, if you don't believe me, just go back and look and bring in a profile. I want to find a better example where we get structure, a break, structure, break, structure, and let me. These areas in here is where it rejected, right? So that's why we're looking at the swings. Okay, so what you're getting is all this price action in here. Boom, heavy impulse move on high volume into most likely into high liquidity down here, and then you get this kind of back and forth. Now, this is where price rejected earlier and is now accepting low. A lot of you guys, I know you know this. This is all kind of the ABCs of profile and auction market. I mean, and historically we can go back and Alton, Steidelmeyer, but look at this too. I mean, look at this is a Darvis box. Darvis, a Hungarian dancer back in the 50s, came up with the same ideas. Anyway, and then here again, big break, right? That impulse move. So in this case, this is like value area, break. It's going to be your low volume node, back to it, and your continuation. So what your profile is going to look like is going to be, now that's what I was looking for. It's a good example, and it just don't see it right. Profile is going to look like this, depending on where it that it's going to be like, okay, and these are your low volume. Back into it. Rejection, this would be your low. If this is high volume here, looking for low volume back into where it dropped from. That's the structure here. And likely something's going to happen on a small time frame. We're looking for not back and forth trend, and then a lot of times what we get is kind of something back up into these areas here, and then you get the next down, something like this. But it varies in structure. But we're looking for more volume on the sell side again. Little volume coming back up. Then we want to see that rejection again. Maybe it trades through it a little bit. Rejects, heavy selling. That's what we're looking for. Trend continuation down to the bottom of the range, and then another potential measured move down below into another range. It starts down here, right? And this is what your profile looks like trending. Guys, give me some feedback on that, please, because is this too elementary for you, or is this not enough, or do you want more? We're going to have a profile. We have a profile tool now, but as you guys can see, we're bringing all these kind of pieces back in together along with profile. Okay, and the low volume pullback and all that kind of low volume node and stuff is just really kind of the tip of the iceberg. How about Alois? Feedback from you. Is this just too elementary? Hey, Laura, like it. I don't know how much you studied of DNT, another profile trader. Give me some feedback if you guys want to reach out to me. DM me. That's fine too. So here we go. Here we go on the buy side here, right? It had to do all this back and forth in here. Now, again, let's take a look at this in here. Now we're gonna end it here, end the webinar. But what have we got going on right now? This is another thing to put into whole picture. It's really important. What kind of traders are trading right now and moving price? Oh, actually, I'm wrong on this. I'm sorry. It's 11:30 here, and I made an assumption. I'm wrong because it's not the close in right now. We have another hour until that. But typically, we're looking for around a certain time and some volatility due to the traders that are trading it. It's the close for them. So look for some movement. Okay, so now we're getting those buyers that we were looking for in these other areas, and now we're getting them. Okay? It had to go back and forth in here quite a while, and rejected down in this area in here. We didn't even get the move down into this 40, which I thought looked pretty. See, it kind of rejected there already, and then rejection happened here, just in this little area. Now we're already bullish for the day. This is crude, geopolitical stuff. That's the impetus moving this market. We talked about this. This is an important one. Even though there's a lot of liquidity up here and traded, there can still be more aggressors interested, and then there are passive sellers. Now, I mentioned this. It's getting complex, right? And there's a lot of back and forth, a lot of liquidity back and forth, kind of all over the place. And this is not what I'm looking for, sure. But anyway, the point I want to get across is if the market auctioned up here already and we get more aggressors, it is more likely to trade up here and get price discovery above it than it is to trade back down into these levels here. And now that's not always true, but like it auctioned up here. It accepted up here for a while. It can trade there again. Down here in the profile, it is rejecting. Look at how much traded in here, right? That's why I was looking for the retest back up into here. Now, if a bunch of sellers come in and take it down, that can happen. And we look for it maybe to trade back down to this level down here where it can trade again, okay? Where there's another profile, another area of acceptance down in here. Anyway, let me see. DNT, identifying the right market to trade is important. Practicing LVN. Yep. Balance to imbalance. Yeah. So yeah, and here's our price discovery again. Like, you know, take a look at this in here. Low volume node. Right now we've been talking about the same things forever, and it's not calling it that. It's in here. Now, does it accept? Reject. Rejecting. Okay. Now, because price traded up into here, okay, and we want to see it build. This gets back into that weak top as well. You start to see the weak top in here, you can get price discovery. This can break if we get buyers up in here, and we can get a break, and it can trade back up into here. Okay? This profile up in right now is rejecting. We saw that earlier. It was kind of rejecting back and forth in here in this little area. We're looking for acceptance and buyers at this top area, then looking for them to fill this area in and break and trade up into this area. That this will auction this area. All right. Let's see if we can get it here. And it's not ready yet. It's not ready. There we go. Okay, so now I don't like it. I want to see more volume than that. But see if it can accept here. That's just not enough. Better. See how it's starting to fill that in? Let's get up to 30. Maybe we can get our price discovery up to 30 or 50. So now we need to see a lot more volume come in. Now we need to see it break. Right, but getting up to here is not bad. You know, I mean, we already knew it auctioned up there, so we're looking for it to return back up into if we can get those buyers in here. And here we didn't like it. Here's looking better. Here, see how it auctioned. Same idea. It auctioned here. It auctioned here again and again. We're looking for it. You know, hey, granted, these could turn into traps if sellers slam on it and pull it away. Okay, but typically in a trending environment, this is what we're looking for, and we're looking for price discovery. All right, I'll leave it on that, guys. Like I kept promising, and I continue to promise, I will have these materials for you. I just want to make sure it's clear, and I have 10 different files already. They're ready to go. But I started looking at them again, and it's like, yeah, I don't want to release something and then get a lot of questions on it. So we'll you know, give me a few more days here to kind of mold them and refine them to get some really clear files for you guys. And then we'll cover these things again and again in here. And look. Thanks for coming, everybody. Have a good weekend. Yeah, really exciting stuff here for the pilot program in the near future with another setup and a lot more than that. Okay? A plan for the day no matter what time frame you're trading. Really important for you guys. All right, have a good weekend, and we'll catch up next week. All right, take care. Thanks. Bye-bye.